Does art have to be complicated? And does art have to be expensive? And what is really affordable art? One person who thought the art world was far too exclusive for its own good was a young man named Will Ramsay. Today, the same guy is founder and CEO of the Affordable Art Fair and Ramsey Fairs, whose project grows into 13 art fairs across 10 countries. I once met you for the launch of the first Affordable Art Fair in Stockholm 10 years ago. You were here for the opening, and I remember I told you how surprised I was over the enormous interest and commerce there were at the fair. But to you, it was already proved concept. How did it all start?
It started because well, firstly, I used to go to galleries in my early mid-20s, and I felt, and I hadn't studied art or art history to degree level, but I'd done them both at school and I was still interested. And I would go around commercial galleries hungry to learn more, and I just wasn't being helped. And I thought, this is just wrong. It was only dealing exclusively with serving people who knew about art, and I thought there is huge potential to be inclusive and to cater for people who don't know about art but want it in their lives. And wouldn't that be a good way of helping artists and galleries? So my first thing started in 1996, which was a gallery called Will's Art Warehouse. And that was a bit of we have in the UK a sort of, not high street, but a company called Majestic Wine Warehouse. And they make wine inclusive. They have the labels on the back saying light and fruity, good with fish. They have friendly, well-trained staff who serve you really well. There's a wide selection. And I thought, let's try and do the same for art, because these guys and other companies have succeeded in expanding the wine customer base way beyond the exclusive wine drinkers who have a cellar and know about their wine and are served by the traditional wine merchants. So I started with my gallery called Will's Art Warehouse in 1996. I had 3 galleries at one point, and stock control was difficult, of course, because it's much easier having a chain when there's more than one original artwork. I then applied for the only contemporary art fair at the time in the UK in London, which was called, I can't even remember what it was called then. It changed the name, Art 99, Art 98, they called it. It sort of changed every year, the name. Anyway, I got rejected and they sent the wrong images back. Some images that were fantastic. It was the era of 5x4 transparencies, and there was this gorgeous transparency sent from a gallery in Dublin that also got rejected, I assume. And I thought, if they're not organized enough to get the right images back, and they're rejecting so many that they can't do it either, and then I can do a more organized job, and there's going to be demand from galleries. Around a similar time, a friend of mine who was earning plenty of money as a banker said, I went to that fair, but I couldn't afford anything. And I thought, of course you could have afforded something. It was just that the piece that he had asked the price of happened to be the, I don't know, really expensive piece. And so I thought, let's just put prices on everything. Let's put the focus on the price, because then it will, and hence the name Affordable Art Fair, because it will then make people who feel excluded, make them feel, okay, this could be a fair for me to go along and buy my first bit of art. And so that's kind of how it happened. I think the other comparison I made, as well as the wine, is with the clothes industry. You go into a clothes shop, you get really good service, you get a wide selection, all within a certain style. You just get really well looked after. And I thought, I want to take some of these retail principles into the art world.
But when and where was this? Was this in London or?
Yes.
But what about, I mean, since start, the fair has developed quite a bit, and now Affordable Art Fair is a recurring fair in 10 countries, I think. But what is the secret behind the success? Is it just that it's affordable or something else?
I think it's got to be fun. You know, people can equally choose to go to a restaurant instead of coming to our art fair, or do something out of town or in a park, or go to the cinema. And so it's got to be fun. It's got to keep changing, so people want to keep visiting. We try and inspire the galleries to make sure they bring new artists and new artists, and encourage existing artists to make new artworks, so that it keeps everything fresh. We follow, I mentioned the army, we follow the 7 Ps. The 7 Ps stand for prior preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. So we like to be organized, and in the events business, that's really really important, that everything's done and well organized by the time people arrive.
But when it comes to the name, the Affordable Art Fair, what is affordable to you?
Yeah, well, of course it's relative, and it means something to different people. In the same way that there's a great quote that everyone who drives a car a little bit slower than you is an idiot, and anyone who drives a car a little bit faster than you is a maniac. But sorry to digress. But to answer your question, we have a ceiling of, that I think is, I think it's 100,000 krona, but I can't actually remember.
Yeah, it's actually 70,000, I think it is.
70,000.
At least communicated, yeah.
But, prices start way below that, and our average would probably be, our average selling price would probably be 10,000 krona, or even lower. And of course, prices start at about 1,000, and there's sort of two price points. One is original works. The artist has clearly had to spend, or the time that they have spent creating the artwork is only divisible by 1 for unique artworks, so they have to be more expensive, typically paintings. If that time input is divided up into a division, into an edition, then clearly that can be cheaper. And so printmaking and photography and some sculpture can obviously be even more affordable. And that, you'd be surprised to find a painting for 1,000 krona, but you may find some prints.
Yeah. You mentioned you had a career in the military, but you switched weapons to art. What made you do that change?
I think the military was following a family tradition. It wasn't really me. I'm not very good at being told what to do.
Okay. So that's the main reason. What?
Yeah, I was the 5th generation to go into either the army or the navy, and it was sort of expected of me. But it was still very useful, and I enjoyed it, and great leadership training.
But art was more your free spirit. So do you consider yourself a collector today?
Collector means different things in different countries. And if I make a comparison, in the US, you are an art collector if you have bought 2 or more original artworks. In the UK, you are a collector if you have a private art museum that you've opened, or maybe a little bit down from that. But it's all relative. I have bought between 150 and 200 artworks. Over 90% of them. No, I think over 80% of them, I had a look the other day. I've got an efficient spreadsheet. I had a look the other day, and about 70 to 80% of them are under £1,000. So let's say broadly under 10,000 krona. And then another 10% are under £5,000. So let's say 50,000 krona. And then there's only a few that that are between £5,000 and I think the most I've ever spent. Only two pieces have been over £10,000. So I live by my values of affordability.
What is so fun with art?
Well, I think for me, it's I love the inspiration. I love the creativity, amazing skill. I love craftsmanship, great composition. There's so much that, and I think buying an artwork is sort of making a connection with another human being, which is the artist. The artist sees something that they want to depict, or creates this artwork, and then the person who buys it, be they a collector or not, they see and appreciate the same thing that the artist has seen and appreciated, and I think that's quite special as well. I love meeting the artists and hearing the story behind the artworks.
But in fact, how important is the gallery's role in the so-called ecosystem of the art world?
I think very, very important for most artists. There are some artists who don't need a gallery because they're good at marketing, they're good at sales, they're good at promoting themselves. But for many artists, it is important that they might be more introverted. They might a lot of artists find it really difficult to talk about their art and don't want to spend time trying to sell it and market it. It's not their skill set, and they need the gallery to provide that role, and they're better spending their time on making and creating. And I think from the customer perspective, the role of the gallery is really important because it acts as a valuable edit and selection tool, and it means that you the customer are being presented with quality art. You may be presented with, I don't know, let's say 10 artists, and that gallerist will have seen over 100 artists' work to end up, or maybe 1,000, to end up choosing those 10 artists. And so there's you're getting a level of quality depending on the type of gallery that it is.
If I say,
and also at an art fair, you have galleries chosen, and we select the galleries who we want and think will fit and will be appreciated by the visitors. So at an art fair, you have even a more refined selection, and in this time poor world that we all live in, we don't have time to go around loads of graduates or undergraduate degree shows or artist studios, and so it's a very time efficient way of immersing yourself in art at an art fair.
If I say you just regret what you don't buy, do you agree? And are there any works of art that you regret you didn't buy through the years?
Yes, there's one, and it was a Victor Pasmore print. He was a modern British artist, and I saw it at another art fair about 25 years ago, and I didn't think I could afford it then, and I have regretted it ever since, and I've never seen the same print again. And so that's the one that got away, and so I would certainly encourage everyone who is still thinking about an artwork the next day or the next week, do something about it.
This week, the Affordable Art Fair opens in Stockholm, which this year celebrates its 10 years anniversary. We meet Wilhelm Hirsch, manager of the fair. You are the manager for the Affordable Art Fair in Stockholm that opened this week. What is new for this year?
Well, this is the first time we're hosting the fair in the springtime. It's our 10th anniversary. We've always had a fall fair. And this year, in order to attract new visitors and attract new gallerists as well to come to Stockholm, we've decided to host this fair already in the spring. It's the 10th anniversary in Stockholm, but it's the 23rd or even 24th anniversary of the Affordable Art Fair as we know it around the world. So it's been going on for quite a while.
So anything special to look forward to?
Several things. Other than the several new artists, both local and international, we've widened the concept of the fair, both culinary and also in terms of the senses that are being explored and offered. We'll be doing musical performances on the Stockholm Culture Night, Kulturnatt Stockholm, which is Saturday night, and it's a free event actually from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Where we will have world music artists Zuzu and Mar that will be coming. They've performed previously together with Timbuktu at Polarpriset, amongst other things. They're very talented. And also local product, Jakob Douglas from the Nacka area as well, who'll be doing music as well together for the promotion of our charity partner, Musikbojan. It's a foundation that focuses on music therapy.
And you will actually have an auction as well, will you?
Yes, we're very excited. Also, in promotion of the foundation Musikbojan, Carolina Uglas is auctioning off one of her paintings that will be on display at the fair, throughout the fair. Auction will be starting on Thursday, and which is the day that the fair is opening, and will be live on Tradera as well, so you can make the bids on Tradera. Yeah.
Which is similar to eBay, right?
Exactly, the Swedish version of eBay. Exactly.
Okay, interesting. And the money then goes to charity.
Exactly, yes, absolutely. Everything, all the proceeds go to charity.
We have just come out from a couple of years of COVID. Was there a problem to get the galleries?
Yes. Definitely. Say we were quite lucky last year to be right in between restrictions for our fall 2021 fair. But we've also seen complications due to Brexit, which has which prohibits most UK galleries of coming as well. But still we see issues with restrictions around the world, mainly in Asia and Asia Pacific, that prevents people from, or gallerists from coming to Stockholm, which we're very sad about. But otherwise, that's helped us focus more on European galleries and getting galleries that have never exhibited in Stockholm before to the fair and try and offer something new that will still create good value and something that really appeals to the Stockholm visitor.
No, but that's nice for the audience, obviously, because then they will see quite a lot of new art this time, I guess.
Absolutely, both local and international. We've seen how the main interest has shifted over the past 10 years from, well, previously it was a lot of photography that went quite well. Last year we saw an increase in both abstract art and sculptures, which is something that we think we will continue to see this year. And we have several new both abstract and sculptors who will be exhibiting at the fair, which should be going quite well, hopefully.
Yeah. The name of the fair obliges. You're selling art for up to about 70,000 SEK, which is about £60,000 or 7,000 euros. Why do you have that limit?
Well, we need to have the limit set somewhere. And we also start at 500 SEK, which is, I would say, a very fair balance. There are wonderful pieces that you can find for 500, but also wonderful pieces that you can find for 70,000. And it still creates a good balance without the quality being too different within this segment. And the 70,000 is an increase of the 50 and 60,000, which has been previously for the past 10 years in Stockholm. But it's not a very steep increase in terms of how everything else has been going if you follow, well, inflation and things like that over the past decade. So we think we found a very good balance, and we appeal to a very large segment, and we see everything from CEOs of the stock market to first-time buyers coming into our fair, and I think that's wonderful to see.
But does that also means that you can attract new galleries a little bit more high-end to the fair?
Well, yes and no. I would say the gallerists come to us because they see that we are a marketplace for catching new buyers and finding people who are exploring their way into the art world. People don't start usually by buying an original Picasso or Matisse, but they see that it's like everything else. You have to start somewhere, and the interest has to grow with genuine passion. And people buy what they like here at affordable. They see something, they take something, and that is the idea of affordable. It's not supposed to be complicated, it's supposed to be easy, and it's very accessible. And that is what I think appeals to a lot of people who are not familiar with the art world and can see other art fairs as a bit stuffy in comparison to where affordable everything is. Prices on display, everything is easy, you can read it, you can see it, you can take it, it's tangible in a way that maybe different art fairs are a little bit stuffier.
The art world can considered by many to be a bit snobby and difficult to get into. Is affordable art fair the way in? You kind of answered that already.
Yes. I mean, our founder, Will Ramsay, who you've already spoken to, founded the fair with the idea of democratizing the art fair, the art world as it is, trying to make it more accessible and make it more fun for the general public. He has a genuine passion for art and wants it to be for everyone. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. I don't think the art world intends to be snobby and stuffy in many cases, but it is still perceived as such. And that's where Affordable Art Fair comes in as a gateway into the art world and a place for people to explore and grow their passions.
Let's go down the memory lane for a moment. The Stockholm Affordable Art Fair are celebrating 10 years, as you said, this year. You personally have not been involved from the beginning, but I suspect you know. What has happened during those years?
Well, yes, as you say, I haven't been involved from the beginning on the back end, but I've been a visitor since day one. I bought my own first pieces at the Affordable Art Fair in Stockholm when it was out in Frihamnen, our first location in 2013. That was the second year of the fair. Over the years, we've exhibited some amazing artists. We've had Bob Dylan exhibited with Miva. We had Scam actually exhibit piece by Banksy, which was recently sold on Sotheby's, which was very fun to see. So you can find a little bit of absolutely everything at the fair. We've always had also our recent graduates project, which has been very, very popular. We've seen Alexander Thalén, who last year won the Nationalmuseum Årets Unga Konsthantverkare. The National Gallery's Young Craftsman of the Year, who exhibited at the first 2012 Affordable Art Fair. We've seen Michela Sugnossi, who's also exhibited at Gallery Flack. And this year we've actually changed the concept a little bit to be focusing on only Konstfack. So this is genuinely an interest in trying to find a new take on the recent graduates, form, but also it enabled the curators to actually see all the pieces this year before it actually came to the fair, because with travel restrictions, trying to get up to Umeå or down to Göteborg, it wasn't always easy trying to meet up with people. So this year was very, we focused it on one school, and we'll be doing art talks about that as well. It's going to be very interesting to see.
That's actually one of my favorite stands. I always find some treasures in the recent graduates. For example, I bought one of those Alexander, or a couple of them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Nice.
very early on. Yeah, that's I really enjoyed both him and the sculptures actually. So do you have any special memories yourself from the fair?
Well, I mean, for me, the strongest experience of the fair is, of course, last year for me hosting my very first fair. It's such an intense experience, literally at the fair almost 24/7 over a 7-day period, and still somehow it just flies by and it's so much fun. This year it's going to be very interesting to actually get to participate more in art talks, which we weren't allowed to do last year due to not being allowed to bring people together in confined spaces. So this year there's much more interactive experience, both for the visitors and for me as well, participating in art talks, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I would say opening my first fair last year with the Minister of Culture was very fun experience, and I look forward to doing a full fair with everything that it entails for this year as well.
And who will open the fair together with you this year?
This year it will actually be an artist called Magda Lundberg, who is how do you say, a tecknare, drawing artist also, in Dagens Nyheter. So she has actually created our very own first fair NFT, which will be released at the fair. It will be able to be purchased through OpenSea, actually. And the NFT itself will be exhibited at the fair at the Infinity Mark stand. And the comment of the NFT of her very characteristical birds is basically the road taken versus the road non-taken. What is known, what is unknown. There's always pros and cons, and how do you say, the difficult decisions you have to make moving forward. If you have to take the door on the left or the door on the right, because we don't know what will happen with NFTs. It's still such a new medium into the art world. It's a way for artists to express themselves, and we as a platform are here to, how do you say, well, be a window to the visitors and showcase that to the visitors, and let the artists show this. But we don't know where it will take us yet. All I know is you usually cannot close Pandora's box. It's difficult to close it again, and I think we will see NFTs in some shape or form in this part of the art world in the future.
I guess so. I suspect that many who comes to the fair buy art for the first time, actually. What tips would you give them?
Buy with the heart. Always buy something that appeals to you, because every morning you're the one who wakes up and you're the one who has to look at it. I mean, it's the same thing with if you want to build an interest and for it to grow, if you buy something you like, you will automatically gain interest in more, trying to get a different piece that will perhaps go with that piece. You will nourish your interest. If you try and purchase solely for the purpose of making money, I would suggest doing research on the stock market instead. But always passion.
You said you bought art yourself at Affordable Art Fair.
Yeah.
Do you do it every year?
Yes. I didn't in 2019. I'll have to blame my daughter, who was a newborn at the time. It was difficult to walk around. It was so crowded. But I think in 2021, I think I bought 8 pieces. I still haven't told my wife about that.
They're still in the closet somewhere.
Yes. I haven't picked them out, all of them yet. They're still in the gallery, some of them. But I try not to, but it's always difficult. I mean, there's always so much that I have to.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So what to do if I want to visit the fair next week, and if I cannot buy, can I participate, buy online?
So we have an online platform that is called affordableart.com, but we do not sell the pieces that are live at the fair on that platform. If you want to buy the pieces at the fair, you can, of course, buy them. we have millions of pieces at Affordable Art, because it's not just the exhibiting in Stockholm, the exhibiting galleries in Stockholm, but there's also all the galleries that are connected to the Affordable Art Fair network that have pieces online. But I would suggest definitely come to the fair, take our shuttle boat that departs from Nybrokajen Wednesday or Thursday night or even Saturday night, and come to the fair, experience it. It'll be unlike any other fair that we've had in Stockholm. We've done an immense job of trying to avoid a deja vu experience for the visitors by moving the fair around and creating a different and unique experience that has not yet, even though it's the same location, I do not think that visitors will recognize themselves this year.
Everyone is invited and it costs nothing to watch. Well, besides the entry, of course. But if you visit the fair and use the code Barnaby'sHP22, 2 people can go for the price of 1. Is there really a reason not to go?